all the Eurobonds we have gotten, how much money has been used to pay debt as we speak. And you know what is very interesting, Madam Speaker? Even when we are paying the debts, our debt never goes down. How can you pay 800 billion of debt every year, and yet the debt which you have of 12 trillion never goes down? It means the debts are actually not being paid. It means money is being siphoned off from the international money market, and we are told that this was collected so that we can go and pay our debts, and yet in reality, Madam Speaker, what actually happens is that this money cannot be accounted for by any of our institutions that we have set up to guard what is happening in our country in terms of financial management. So, Madam Speaker, I would like to really plead with the committee and members of this House, and I can see we are now slowly beginning to have a critical mass. Let us make sure that we know how much we are borrowing. Let us make sure we know where the money goes. Let us make sure what we can do. Let us, in the process of achieving this, let us make sure that whatever money that we borrow is utilized fairly, equitably amongst all our counties. And let us make sure, Madam Speaker, that Kenyans begin to trust government. If we don't have an open government, even if the head of state sings from morning till evening, begging Kenyans to raise taxes for him, they will refuse. Why? Because they feel that we are not being open enough and we are not telling them the truth as to what is happening to their money and what is happening to the money that is borrowed for development for our country. Madam Speaker, I would like to say another issue. I have watched what is happening in our country, and I've seen this for quite a long time, and the reason is I've been around for a while. Unless we change the way we behave, unless we change the strategies that we use, unless we change the socio-political, economic behavior as leadership, we are taking our country in the wrong direction. Why do I say so? We have a country. You expect what runs the economy of this country is the private sector. The private sector, the small businesses, the big businesses, the mix between MDGs, all these groups, when you put them together, that is the engine that is supposed to drive our economy. But you see, Madam Speaker, right now in Kenya, our economy is being driven by the national government. That is why everybody wants business in government. That is why everybody wants to do deals in government. That is why any transaction you see, everybody would want to own a piece of land owned by government. Everybody would want to have every single transaction we are conducting today is actually about government. How I plead with my colleagues here that we change that to the point where we agree that the private sector is going to be the driver, is going to be the engine that is going to change the country, the direction is going. That we have an economy that grows, the cake becomes bigger, we are responsible how we use our donor funds, we are responsible how we use all the money that we borrow, and we are responsible how we use the taxes that we collect from Kenyans. And Madam Speaker, my honest observation and honest feeling is that we are failing on all those gaps. And therefore, I would like to say that what works, let us follow it up. Let us make sure that our GDP ratio to debt and to borrowing should come down to 50-50. And let us make sure that when we borrow funds, we borrow externally because money is cheaper at the international money market. We can go 70-30 as we have always been. And I had Honorable Buru Odinga mention, and it's true because of the institutional memory. He was in the treasury. There was a time when the Kenyan government borrowed any money, Madam Speaker. 30% of that money was grants. 70% is what we paid. And the loans were concessional, the loans were long-term, the loans were very soft. That is how you change and develop the development areas in our sectors. Madam Speaker, I would like to finally say that there has been this argument historically, which started about 10 years ago, that all the money we get, whether we borrow it or domestically, what we want to do is make sure that we actually use this money to do mega projects. Where you want to spend 500 billion, where you want to spend 150 billion. Madam Speaker, Kenya just needs for us to fix the health sector, fix the education sector, make sure that we fix the basic roads. Basic roads. Make sure that there is an ease to do business. Make sure that the Kenyan public appreciates that our education is running well, that we are funding university students well, that the primary school must. Why can't we give free education, Madam Speaker, to our poor people in this country? Why? Because Kibaki did it. He was using 72 billion to take primary, secondary, and university students for free education. Right now, the Ministry of Education is given 640 billion shillings. And we can't give our children free education? And we borrow this money? We are spending 640 billion shillings for the education sector. And we are not able to give free education to our students. And you hear all these things about who prints books, where the money is going. I mean, Madam Speaker, for us to fix our country, yes, this House can come up with the recommendation. But unless we have structures and institutions that are going to be the defense mechanism we use about our bad behavior, we will not go anywhere. Why? Because, Honorable Mtata, you notice every single time in our republic, at least, I'm so happy it's been like nearly a week that you have not seen a scandal. There is scandal after scandal after scandal about public money. Can we stop the abuse, the misuse, the wastage of public funds so that we serve the Kenyan public with the dignity they deserve, so that we can leave a country that is better than we found it? And my worry is many of us may not see the contradiction of where we are. We are a country that has got a budget that can run between 6 to 7 countries within the East and Central African region. What we have as a budget can run those 7 countries. But if you take the population we have of 50 million, all these countries I'm mentioning, there are 6 or 7, their population is 300 million. How come we are not able to use the resources that we have to fix the mess we are in? And that is why I keep saying, we don't need to borrow. The money we have, in fact, is enough. All right? Why is the money not enough? We keep on having ghost workers. We employ teachers. We don't know who owns the...
Time up, Senator. Thank you. Okay, half a minute. You finish the sentence.
Yes. I just wanted to say, let us make sure there is open government, transparent government, where we are accountable to each other, where we manage the resources of our country with prudence and respect, and Kenyans will be always happy that we were in this House. And I really hope that this House, and particularly this House and the Budget Committee, will stand up and stand for the Kenyans. Madam Speaker, thank you. With all those many remarks, I second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Okoit-Andrew Mutata, Busia County.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this very important debate. I will begin by referring to the Constitution, which is my Bible or my Quran on matters governance. Article 220 of the Constitution provides for how our budgets have to be made, their content, timing, and form. And within that particular section, it's clearly